these families and the victims and all those around all of these real crimes that all of these creators have latched onto. Committed real crimes against, tormented, stalked, harassed, terrorized, slandered, etc., etc., etc. Because this has only been operating since what? What's really? And during pandemic, etc. I would guarantee you at some point they all come together with a class action lawsuit, or worse, for these creators and all of those who have been built to terrorize, harm, target, and harass. So I guess at the end of the day, really all they have to ask themselves is which creators they're willing to, fuck around and find out with. You've mentioned that name how many times now? And I do believe that was the exact one I mentioned in the video eons ago that this place latched onto and made a thing about. So I don't know why. Seriously, you can go back and just honestly reshare clips and the bullshit around that and save yourself some time. No, it's not what I said, Deets. The way in which they're operating has changed since what? Because, after the OJ thing, and then, Ramsey, all them, it definitely picked up, right? But they operate and function in different ways. What they have been doing and these groups have been doing has changed entirely since what? That's what I'm saying. Oh. Okay, dudes. Whatever you say, it must be correct, alright? You have to be right. So I'll let you be right. You feel better now? Because, there's really shit out there from law enforcement and feds that say they're operating in a different manner since. That's why it's got the nickname it's currently got. I know some spoiled ass little princesses want to play Scooby fucking Doo. We're following court cases after real law enforcement and feds had already solved the motherfuckers. Alright, so you're purposefully misunderstanding me, Deeks. I'm not saying true crime groups and true crime groupies and all this shit that don't exist. Before what? I'm saying the way they operate and function around real crimes, crime scenes, etc. since has changed. Big facts. You tell me how them figure out. No, I'm not. You're purposefully trying to fucking word salad and misunderstand what the fuck I'm saying, dude. You know why? Because it makes good clip art. So you can be like, look, here she said one thing and here's another. And you're purposefully fucking doing the bullshit. Groupies have been a thing. True crime's been a thing since the rock stars up, right? The manner in which they operate has changed during this pandemic and with Tragedy Penfield here. I don't care what you plan on doing with it. You're either purposefully misunderstanding me, you're gaslighting your words sound. I don't care. The point is that the way in which they function has changed. The things they are doing around these crimes, people, communities, families, victims, the whole nine, has changed. Right? But honestly, hell, you could go all the way back to like that Jack the Ripper type shit. There's always been shit, right? But the way in which those who are fascinated by the shit or whatever, has changed. It has changed again. I've already explained that, Deets. And it's not how I think. It's what they're really putting out. People who are, and make no mistake, there are literally people looking at all of this that are, they know it has. It's why, know, it's why it's being given the name and the nicknames it is. Yeah, that's why it's called, what, the Watts effect? I mean, hell, look at some of the ones involved here in Summer's case, right? Uh, they've literally acted so badly. They've had real laws made, and there really does need to be laws made to stop this shit. Um, Unfortunately, some people in certain states are taking those laws and doing shit with them. It's taking real Americans' fucking rights, and it's not helping around the cases, period, and it's just helping the way the point is. Um, this tragedy pimp bill shit is going super real life around these cases. They're not sitting back and watching it. They're not just saying, doing whatever online. They are going real life in a way that's criminal acts, uh, terrorizing, harassing, psychological, emotional, etc. manipulation of people around, tampering with witnesses, tampering with witnesses, trying to plant evidence, um, running all these things in between. They're scams and calling all this other bullshit, and they're causing real life harm to everything. That is not typical, and that is something very new. It is not something that's been here since. And the thing is, I mean, you have law enforcement and feds calling out and saying that it's a change and it is. I mean, anybody can see that. This is not something that was the norm or typical until. And it should never be normalized or typical of what we expect, and it should be shut the whole entire fuck down. For the most part, everyone, doing what they're doing should be. Well, dude, it's not necessarily social media. What you don't see are these people that have, it's like what Adventures with or Equal Search, those types of things. You can try to call those YouTubers, which some are a little fucking sus, but they're not the same caliber because the difference is like you have, say, Slithers, Floppy, and all them. Say Slithers, Floppy, and all them. They're fucking useless. Okay, they don't do what the others. I mean, they just. What you have is certain departments, things like I watched one where I believe it was AWP or one of them, they pulled another car for somebody, figured out race two teens or something like that, right? But and they can do great good, right? They can. Uh, they can. Smaller law enforcement agencies or those who are stretched or don't have the best equipment when they call in others to do that. That's one thing, all right? They're not asking for somebody like fucking Dolly or Floppy to go fucking canvas or to interview or to insert themselves in or to terrorize or to stalk us or to dox us or to target us, harass us, tamper with us, waste fucking time calling suspect bags of adult toys. Do you see? Do not give me a break. Um, but also, dates what you have are these families like, oh, I don't know, Petito, and Landry's being terrorized towards literal state laws made because of what, um, Bullhorn and Drain the Welder and all them did around that. And others that are here in Summer's case as well. Alright? There was no need in that shit. And I watched their dumbassery. And didn't one of them touch some sort of fucking evidence at some point? And did you know, like, very early on, them dipshits were in my inbox? Just like, oh, I don't know, scam and the rest of all these, asking if I would be there, you know, and it told them no, because they were going real life. I told them they could go fuck right the fuck off, and laughed at their heart, but we have drones! I'm like, you know, I've seen the real drones fly, real helicopters and the real shit. Their drones are a fucking joke compared to what feds have and used. It's just ways to insert themselves. That's not helpful. But you mentioned Kylie and Petito on. It was not helpful, at least for Bullhorn or any of them, or Drain Little to go yell outside their house. It was not helpful for them to go yell at Candace and Dawn either. And to what? Get Dawn fired and to, you know, for Drain Little to scream, your babies, whatever. Ugh. That was real fucking helpful, wasn't it? Really solved some shit. I'm sure law enforcement and feds really asked them to come do that. You know, the camp that contained someone in it that was the first on the ground at Sandy Hook, that put out some of the biggest hoaxes immediately, that then people like Alex Jones got hold of and took off. I'm sure LA feds are really asking that douchebag, who is still in probation for stuff to do with Gabby Lee Giffords and other things. And the first person in the U.S. to be responsible for fishing, I'm sure they've asked that dipshit to come down here and be part of summer. Give me a break. That's not helpful. So if LA or something calls in these others that have equipment and things they don't have access to, or search crews or whatever, that's one thing. But they're not calling in fucking people like Floppy or jail douchebag or Bullhorn to come help the fuck out. Oh my god, let's put in 6,000 calls to the Humane Society about these dogs. That'll solve everything. Give a fucking break. And you have them mentioning in Kylie's case, you have her family literally almost immediately protected from this douchebag tragedy pimp group. Law enforcement immediately surrounds them. Says clearly on there they're protecting them. Alright, from shit like this. And they are calling them out. The harassment and stalking, terrorization of youth and children around these cases is not helpful to fucking anyone, and I doubt LE and feds are asking for that type of help. And then in Dylan Rowland's case, you have his mom, Candace, calling the hell out. Even though she does visit their duties, whatever, but they have their own Facebook. You have media around them calling out Dingleberry over there. You know? Come on, guys. There's a difference between calling law enforcement, calling or asking for help from those with real equipment and real training or real credentials, and doofing smirks like Silvertongue. You know what I mean? Or Floppy Britches. Or yeah, people like that can say a whole lot, Teens. But I would hazard a bet a lot. Here in real life, know probably a whole hell of a lot more than these creators and such. Because they have contact with, still talk to, still live, you know. You get what I'm saying? Or more of an idea. And these creators, to be honest with you, they commit too many real life crimes to be. And I don't think feds and LA are going to be like, yeah, bro, come help us out, but also make sure you help like 423 with some bullshit billboard crap or some scam. I don't fucking know, bro, but all this shit, I just don't see it. They're not gonna be like, yeah, make sure you dox like some of the very few witnesses from that day. Please do dox them and put them and their children in danger. Yes, please do put out, you know, illegal pics of their minor children, and please do. I mean, that's just not something they're gonna do. So what you're saying is all crimes are alike, and all law enforcement and all the people behind badges are alike, and each case is alike. Is that what you're saying, Deeds? I do understand what it is. And see, they've put out our whole addresses, our names, shown videos of how to get here, like them driving, and pictures of tag numbers and faces. I mean, they full on, you know, it's quite a difference. And then just putting a name out, right? Sure. Deets? protocols, sure. I'm sure nothing ever changes. It's all, I don't know, Deets, where do you live? City, country, small town, big town? Nothing. Either way, you know, there are certain things that should stay. I mean, just the idea, like, I mean, you were kind of insinuating that everything's done in the same way every time around each crime. Even though every crime has different law enforcement, different people, etc. Well, you're like, oh, well, but I've been involved in one, so and they all have protocols. So that means, therefore, I know exactly what the fuck happened. And so if you do, then I mean, seriously, you can't say that. You can't say that all are exactly alike, or that you know how everything works around, or has gone, or has worked around, just because you've been around one. All things are different in singular events, dude, with different people working them, and different witnesses, and different methods, and all these other things. Sure, dudes. They all follow the same thing. Yep, they all do the same thing everywhere. They all do it the same way, right? That's why any whoever the hell troll just come in here with the same tired shit from almost a year and a half ago, right? I'm not using word solid twisting. I'm telling you. You're saying they all use certain protocols are done a certain way, so therefore you know how each one is done. You know, they have certain protocols. Doesn't mean they fucking follow them or somebody doesn't do whatever. It doesn't mean each case is handled the same as whatever the hell one you were around. And it doesn't mean that because you've been around one, that you know how every single fucking one is going to go or has gone. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here now, would you, dudes? You wouldn't be here speculating or trolling or doing whatever the hell it is you're doing here. You would have no job on YouTube, Deets. You know what, Deets? I don't know. You'd have to ask him because I don't know. What are the protocols, Deets? I do love that digging comment though, Deets. I assume you really think I'm not easy, right? Fun fact, Deets. I don't like bullshit like that. Directness and humanity are the keys, Deets. Not bullshit. I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you, not every single crime is like, nor the people around it, or law enforcement. And of course, there's certain things they're all supposed to do, like what? Collect, gather, interview. There's a checklist there somewhere. But is every person doing all of that the same every time? Fuck no. So therefore,